Hello. Um, Today, I'm going to do my light box review, sun lamp, whatever you want to call it, um, and share a story that might be helpful to other people that um, involves doctors. So, first, let me tell you about. Sorry, I'm having trouble finding a good. I'm starting to not like this microphone. Um, so, I am not sponsored by the company. Um, they're not giving me any money. This just happens to be the one I picked off of Amazon. Um, it's a Morocco sun lamp, and as you can see, there's a power button here. I don't have it plugged in right now, so I will in a minute. Um, Power button, it has a couple settings on how bright, and these are how long you want it to be on. It goes from 10 minutes to 60 minutes, and so I use this. It's just really awkward. Um, and so I use that consistently for about a week and a half. It is no UV and 10,000 lux, which is what is recommended, and no UV because that will harm your eyes and skin. But the idea is get the light into your eyes without looking directly at it. Um, there's I wish it had a. The only thing I didn't like about it was I wish it would have had a USB and a wall plug. That would have been very convenient. So, as the instructions said, I used it for in the morning, first thing in the morning. So, while I was sitting on my laptop in the morning, I um, had it on. I first tried it for 30 minutes and then went up to 40. I do think that it helped. It it wasn't a huge difference, but I really did feel like it helped. I wouldn't say that it helped with my mood necessarily. Like, I still had depression, but I had more energy. I had more motivation to do the daily stuff that needed to be done, and I wasn't dragging myself along as much. So, and I also noticed that when I didn't use it after I used it consistently, um, I things were happening where I had to be somewhere and I didn't have time or something like that. I realized I missed it, and I realized I was actually feeling good, while it was on. And that's what made me go up to 40 minutes, because I was disappointed when the 30 minutes was up and it would go off. I think it would be better if it just suddenly stops. I think it would be more helpful if it slowly came to a stop. Not anything drastic, but just not sudden. Um, so I'm sorry this is a little choppy. I'm on a new medication for my tremor, which it does seem to be helping. Um, but it makes my mouth even drier than normally. So, anyway, it's really cute. I like that about it. And it has this little thing on the back that you can hang it on the wall, which I think could be convenient, and it would look cute there. I like the faux wood design. So I'm going to plug it in case you didn't see it in the other video. Okay, it has a really pretty long cord. And also, oops, I turned it on. It has this moves, so you can put it at different angles. And they were smart in putting this flat for when you do put it on the wall. So there's the brighter. Even brighter. I like the brightest it will go. And they don't want you looking directly at it, so I would put it just off to the side a little bit, but facing me right about there. And the little lights here is how long you want it on. So I would give it a good review. Say 4.5 out of 5. The half being that I wish it had been a USB that's plugged into the prongs for an outlet, so you would have the ability to plug it into your computer, and or an outlet. So that was really the only thing that bothered me, and I really like using it. I think it is helpful for me this time of year. I wish I'd gotten it sooner. It helped make the depression less flat. Which, by the way, the last few days I've had were not, I've not been depressed necessarily. I've been pretty good. I just have a lot of anxiety in the evening, which was something I had a problem with months ago, and it's back. And still having nightmares about had another nightmare about the shelter where I used to work. I'm pretty sure I have PTSD. All of them are the same. I'm minding my own business, walking down the street, and I'm accosted by people that work at the shelter. For some reason, they know who I am and become very hostile. In this one, they threaten bodily harm. I mean, I guess that is normal when you have an experience where someone is in your face screaming at you. So, anyway, the other thing I was going to talk about was a situation or an experience I had with a dentist, but it applies to all doctors. So, okay, um, I take that back. I did not get it from Amazon, but you can get it from Amazon. I got it a little cheaper at Mercari, the online shopping. It's like eBay a little bit. Um, Mercari, but I think it was an item somebody was selling that they had of their own, like eBay. Um, the so I got it for 22, and shipping was 350. The one on Amazon is 35. So if you're interested in getting one, I do recommend this one. And you might want to shop around, like check eBay and Mercari to see if you can get one a little less expensive. So, yeah, I like the little light box. Um, so the other thing I wanted to share with you was a story I had with a doctor and, well, a dentist, but it's an example of being careful and actually being vigilant when you're seeing a doctor for any reason. Okay, so I went in because I had a toothache, and he said that, see, I already knew I'd already had a bunch of work up in the front here. Um, Root canals and crowns. And I had 2 left that needed crowns, but not root canals. And if they broke off, which they were in danger of doing at any time, then because they were mostly filling than tooth, I grind my teeth and it causes a lot of problems in all parts of my mouth. So, my fear was that if I keep pushing, doing this in front, I'm going to have those break off. And if they break off, they wouldn't be able to put crowns on them because they would be there'd be nothing to work with because they would most likely break at the gum line. And my goal had always been to get these all taken care of so I'm not left with a big hole in my face. We can't help the fact that self-esteem is your teeth somehow. It's a big deal. I know there are some people that maybe it isn't, but for me, it's a really big deal, big part of my self-esteem anyway. I don't have a lot of money, and when I'm on disability, I get a little tiny bit here and there training a dog, and maybe selling a wand or broom that I made. But for the most part, it's just disability and stimulus money that has been helpful for this work to be done, and something called a care credit card specifically for healthcare stuff and people who don't have insurance. And okay, so I go in because I have this toothache. And it's down here over here. And they said, well, we tried putting some medicine and filling in there before. It's really close to the root. It really needs a root canal and a crown. And I'm like, I'm thinking, he is talking to me like I have this money somewhere. And his body language, see, they get money from, if I pay for something, it's right there in their pocket. I don't know if they were hurting because of COVID or what, but just his body language and the words he used in that, he was really pressuring me, even though he knew I didn't have any money. And he's like, well, because it's in front, and it's not in front, which I thought was weird. He's like, well, it's in front, and I would say just pull it, but, it's in front, so you don't want that to show, and we're going to, blah, blah, blah. And I left under the impression that I was going to think about it. And I went back. Well, I came home, and I just started replaying the experience in my head. I mean, it was obvious on my face. My entire body language was that I was despondent. I mean, I was very upset and depressed that I had yet another tooth that needed and he had, last time I'd been there, he was like, well, before we do any more work, you need to have a teeth cleaning because it's been so long. And I'm like, I'm just not one of those people. I don't have that money. Any money I have needs to go to preserve this part of my teeth. And I thought, well, maybe he means that it's got to be cleaned before they do the work so it doesn't get infected. But I got home and it just finally the vibe came to me. And I realized that he was really pressuring me into saying, going ahead with something even though he knew I couldn't afford it, which I find disgusting. And I bet I'm talking to you and you probably can't even tell which tooth it was, because I let a few days go by and I was like, and it became more and more clear to me, I felt pressured. And then it became, he was pressuring me. And so when I went back in, I just went in and changed the game plan on them. And I was like, I'm just gonna be assertive. I need to be assertive to get what I need done. And I go in and they have everything laid out for a root canal and crown and stuff. And I'm like, didn't even wait to find out my answer. I'm like, no. I have chosen to have that tooth pulled because you can barely tell where it is. And I'll show you. It's right there. It's right there. There's a hole there now. But you can barely see it. I'm 50 years old. I'm gonna miss a tooth or two. Anyway, And I said, and then I would like the funds that I have left on the card to go towards these two teeth. And I just realized that um, I needed to be assertive with this dentist and kind of call the shots instead of just saying okay, because I have a feeling that I would have been strung along until I had no money. And I mean, like, no money. um, it, so if you if you ever get a vibe, now I've had doctors pressure me. They try. I had. I was the when I had ECT. It was kind of pressured on me, and I went along with it because I was desperate. But they were very eager for me to make that choice, to decide that way to get it. But before I got it, a while before I got it, before I was having this year long depression and I was desperate, I was in a tiny little hospital, and one of two psychiatrists, uh, he, I found out later he was doing research on ECT, and that he pushed all his clients into ECT, and he kept telling me I needed ECT, and I said no way, no way, no I don't, no way. And I even had a psych nurse come in and tell me, ask me about the ECT, and I'm like, no. She's like, well, I can't make you want to get better. You know, sometimes you can be really, really sick, but you can tell when someone is pushing you, a doctor is pushing you in a certain direction. And it's usually because it's going to make things easier on them. Like maybe you're resistant to a lot of medications, and they're getting tired of trying this, trying that with no luck. And they just want to get you on something that'll make you shut up. You have to really be careful because there are a lot of doctors out there that are like that. Now, there are doctors who sit and listen to what you say and take it into consideration and explain what they're thinking and what they know and what would probably be best. I'm going to give you information, and you kind of say what you want. For example, when I went to see a neurosurgeon for a nerve pain I had on my face, I went to the neurosurgeon and he explained the different procedures that could be done. Um, different kinds. And the one with the best results was the most invasive. But he said, now, I've laid these out for you, and I want you to go home, and in 2 weeks, I think it was 2 weeks, we'll make you an appointment, and you can come back and tell me what you'd like to go with. Now, that's a good doctor. I've had doctors get angry with me because I wasn't getting better under their care and saw it as me being stubborn and their abilities. If you just get a feeling that you're being pressured or ignored, but right now I'm talking about pressured into anything, tell them you'd like to think about it. There is, in most cases, it's not going to hurt to think about it for a couple days and let them know. Because at first I was confused. I was confused as to why he was guiding me towards a certain procedure that he knew I couldn't afford on a tooth that's barely visible, and that I already have other work that needs to be done. And I'm like, there's only one reason, it's money. So if you get a feeling, listen to that feeling. It's not going to hurt. Wait a couple days, wait a couple weeks, whatever is going on, and get back with them if that's how you're feeling. And it never hurts to get a second opinion. It is a common thing to get a second opinion. If a doctor feels insulted because you said you just wanted to get a second opinion, just in case, just, to make you feel better, if they feel insulted or something, then there's something wrong with them. Follow the doctor blindly is not a good philosophy, not a good way to go. You have to really be careful. People with psychiatric disorders, people with issues with, like, if you don't have a lot of self-confidence or self-esteem, they may see you as a target in a way to get something like this dentist, and or to have things go their way. And I don't claim to have the best self-confidence, but there's enough there that I can get an idea, get a feeling that somebody is not being genuine with me. There's more of that going on in this world, I have found out, than I once thought. There are greedy people out there. So watch for them. If you feel like you're being manipulated or led into something or pushed into something, take your time, get a second opinion, talk to a friend. Same thing, if your doctor isn't listening to you, is blowing you off, then it's time for a new doctor. But sometimes we don't have a choice. Sometimes you have to say, stop writing, stop talking, look at me, hear me, I'm not leaving this room until you give me the straight story. It's a shame that professions that are supposed to be helping people, there can be some bad apples in there. And it's not that this dentist was incompetent, but I certainly think he was greedy. I mean, they know I'm like on Medicare, so I mean, I would have expected his point to be, well, you can barely see that tooth, we can just pull it. Which, by the way, was very unpleasant experience. Not the feeling, the noise, the sound of bone. Ugh, yuck. And I have temporary crowns on a couple of these teeth. All these are crowns. These are crowns from grinding my teeth at night. I've been doing it. I was first aware of it in my early 20s. I believe it is stress related because that's when I started working as an RN on an oncology unit. I can't count how many night guards I've had over the counter by dentists. I got this thing from a orthodontist. I just chew them all up. Just chew them up. And I still am having nightmares about the shelter, the animal shelter where I used to work, and the traumatic experience I had there. I just keep having these horrible dreams where I'm walking and minding my own business. I'm not engaging anybody in anything, but I'm walking alone. I'm walking home, or I'm walking by somewhere. Or this one in particular was I was just going for a walk and I didn't really pay attention to where I was going, and I realized that I was close to the animal shelter and I was going to turn around and go the other way, but some teenagers that had something to do with the shelter, they were outside and they saw me and they knew who I was and were saying to each other, "Oh, that's her. She's not supposed to be here. We need to get her." And they started throwing stuff at me and were threatening me physically, bodily harm. And so it's like I live in the small town and the animal shelter is just down the way, and I'm still I was so betrayed by so many people. It's disgusting, and I was harassed by a board member. I was alone, and he was yelling in my face. Gesturing like in a very angry way. It was very traumatic. And and it was traumatic because he got angry because I wouldn't just stand there and let him yell. Tried to talk back to him to answer what he was going on about. And it just made him angrier. And I think that and a person I thought was a friend, I realized she was definitely not on my side before it became apparent. And she had shown her true colors between me leaving and me realizing that she was not in my corner regarding anything, that she can be a pretty good faker. But once I caught on, I realized she's not a hugely talented liar, but fairly good actress. Some of them were so bad, it was just like, it just made them look stupid because they dragged that whole thing along, and I just kept going to work doing my job until I resigned. But it was very traumatic, and when I have these nightmares, I wake up and my jaw hurts so bad. And I had that happen today. It hurt so bad. And I think I have these dreams, these nightmares about the people. It's not the place, it's the people. And I think I have a lot of tension while that's happening, that dream. And I'm grinding my teeth and clenching my teeth from the stress of the dream. It was horrible. And it wasn't the only one I had last night. It was just a miserable night. I rambled off onto a tangent. I know. But so the videos about my brother were very hard to do, and I was having a lot of emotions during and after. And so my at least next two videos I'm going to try to keep it light, not too heavy. I'm hoping we're going to get some sunshine. I know next week one day is going to be 40. So I'm really excited about that. That's all I have. I will talk to you later. If you like my video, this one was kind of a mess, but press like. And I would like any comments. And if you want to join a community for bipolar disorder, there's a link below. Bye.